Hey everybody, welcome to another video of mine. So I'm actually going to change things up a little bit. I want to incorporate something else into my videos other than just talking about books. So I am going to be changing the channel to Books and Brews. So with Books and Brews, it's pretty much going to be, and I don't want to say it's going to be every video, hopefully, but I don't know if it will. But I basically want to talk about books, obviously, that's why we're here. And I want to talk about brews. Now that could either be a beer, it could be a coffee, it could be tea. But yeah, I just want to add a little something to the videos and something more to talk about, because I do like beer, I do like coffee, and I do like teas, and I love books as well. So why not combine it all? But anyways, so starting with this video, it will be the first one where I introduce a brew. And today it is going to be a Figueroa Mountain Lizard's Mouth Imperial IPA. So get a little closer look at that there. All right, so a little bit about this brew. I had to write it down because there's no way I could remember it all. But it is named after a rock formation in the San Ynez Mountains near Santa Barbara, California, which I'm here in California, so I guess we can call that a local brew. This beer is known for being hoppy but smooth with tropical notes of mango, papaya, and pineapples. So all of that sounds delicious to me. Actually, I've never been a big fan of papaya, but if it's in a drink and it's mixed with other fruits, then sometimes I don't mind that. So anyways, let's go ahead and open this guy up. Whew, first impression is the smell that came out of the can as soon as I opened it. It smells very fruity. I'm getting a smell of papaya, kind of orange-ish too. Mango for sure. Papaya, mango, and orange is what I smell from this. What did it say? Pineapple. Okay. Let me see if I can taste it. All right, here I go. Ooh, definitely tropical. Really good though. 9% alcohol. This is a 19.2 ounce can right here. So this is a little tall boy. Ooh, really good though. I'm definitely getting the mango. I feel like the mango flavor is the most dominant flavor that's coming through here, and a hint of papaya. Ooh, and definitely a bit hoppy. Definitely hoppy. But overall, this is really delicious, and I like the can. I like our little lizard there. He's super cool. That's pretty much the reason why I picked this one. I just went to the store and picked a random beer. Actually two, because it was two for, I think like 2 for $7 or 2 for $8. Excuse me. And so the other one is going to be, in my next video, will be with the same brand. But yeah. That's really good. So this is the first brew that I am putting on my new named channel, which I will rename it soon, but Books and Brews. All right, now let's get into the second part of my name, the books. Okay, so this November, because we are towards the end of November right now, I believe today's November 22nd. I wanted to really read some nice, cozy fall books. And I purchased these books on Amazon, and totally blinded, by the way. And I think I talked about it a little bit in my last video or the video before that about what book I was going to start reading. And that was, or is, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. So just take a look at this cover here. Look at how cozy it looks, right? You got the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. You got the cute little bookstore here. These fall leaves. I think you even have like a cat walking into the bookstore. And it's really cute, right? It looks like it's going to be a really cute, cozy book. Well, we were wrong. I was wrong. This was actually a very smutty book. And I also didn't know, again, I went into it blind when I purchased this book. So I didn't know that Dream Harbor is actually a whole series, and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is the second book in the series. But it pretty much revolves around this town. And let me see, they even put a little map in here as well. So it's a map of the town of Dream Harbor. And it lists the little businesses around. Like right here we have the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. It's next to the Gingerbread Bakery and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Sullivan's Pub, a pet shop, the Apple Pie Ice Cream Parlor, the Daisy Chain Flower Shop. It reminds you of like a nice, cute little Hallmark movie, right? Where you have all these little small mom and pop shops all put together or all set up together and stuff like that. And when I bought this book, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a Hallmark movie, but in a book. But it turns out it was not. Don't get me wrong, it was cute and it had some cozy vibes to it. But I think I got really thrown off with the amount of smut that was written in this book. I figured, okay, there's going to be a bit of romance, because even in the back it says that Hazel and Noah are going to have like some type of little romance going on. So obviously I figured there'd be some romance, right? But this book is very descriptive on that romance and what goes on with it. Again, nothing wrong. I don't mind reading a little bit of smut in my books, but for me, it was just not what I was expecting, first of all. And second, it wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for something a little bit more cozy, and it didn't disappoint, but it also didn't deliver as well. So anyways, so what this book is about, it's about this girl named Hazel. And Hazel is a manager at one of the little businesses called the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. And she one day notices that one of the books in the romance section, it has been tampered with. Like it's kind of like off the shelf a little bit. So Hazel goes and she adjusts the book, only to realize that the book had been tampered with. So when she opens it up, she realizes that there's a portion in the book that has been, I believe the first time it was highlighted, it might have been marked with a pen or whatever. So she goes and she like reads that sentence, and then as she does, a fisherman named Noah walks into the bookstore, and she shares with him like, oh, like this happened, you know. And he's like, well, what are you reading? And he takes the book from her, and it's like a pirate romance sexy book. And so he's like, oh, you know. So basically it turns into this thing where Hazel and Noah decide that they want to turn this mystery of like whatever's highlighted in the books, because as the book goes on, more books start getting vandalized, and she's noticing that people, or whoever this is that's doing it, they're highlighting like certain lines of like things that she should do to kind of make her life, I guess, a little bit more interesting. So another thing that I left out Hazel is 29 years old and she's going on 30. Her 30th birthday is going to be in like 2 months or so. And she feels like her life is a little bit boring. That all she really does is read books and kind of stays inside. And when she's out with her friends, she doesn't really have much to talk about. So she sees these clues as an opportunity for her to spicing her life up a bit and have something to talk about with her friends, instead of just always talking about books and being a little bookworm and stuff like that. So she asked Noah for help with that because Noah is known for being an adventurous guy and kind of like a guy who gets around and a fun guy. And so she asked him for help with making the last 2 months of her 20s fun and adventurous. And so he's all in for it. So anyways, the book goes on. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the book goes on with Hazel and Noah going on this adventure of spicing up Hazel's life a bit before she turns 30 years old. And yeah, altogether, I'd say it was a good book. It was very light. It was fun. It was cute. Again, it was spicy. It was a very easy, light read. I think there's only like 300 in. I know it's not more than 400 pages. It's 347 pages, so it's a really light, easy read. And I finished it, I believe, like within a week, maybe a little over a week, because there were some days that I didn't read. But I liked it. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it definitely was fun to read. It was a light, fun, easy read. And it did have some cozy vibes to it. Like I said, it didn't disappoint, but it also didn't deliver exactly what I was looking for. So reading this book, it kind of wanted me to talk about a certain subject as well. So with Hazel feeling the way she did. So again, like I said, Hazel was 29, going on 30. And she felt like she didn't have a wild enough time in her 20s. And she wanted to change. She wanted to do something about it. And it got me thinking, like, if I were in the same situation where I was very cautious in my 20s, I'm 35. So I am well past my 20s, mid 30s, you know. And I had to think, like, if I was in the end of my 20s and I had a very calm, adventurous, quiet teens and 20s, would I feel the same? Would I feel like I would have to spice up the next 2 months so that way I know I can say that I had a cool, like a good, 20s decade within the last 2 months? It's hard to say. I want to say no. I want to say that I would be content with being who I am, with being a bookworm, with having all this knowledge and knowings of like all these different books. Like, I think that's cool. I honestly think that's really cool. And I can honestly kick myself in the butt for not reading as much as I feel like I should have or could have throughout my life, because I love reading. I really do. But there's still so much that I haven't read that sometimes I feel like I'm behind. Behind what? I don't know. But sometimes I just feel like I wish I read more. And looking at Hazel, she's this big time manager, or not big time manager, but she's basically almost owns this little bookstore. She doesn't own it, but the owner gives her the rights to do whatever she wants there. The only thing that the owner asks of her is to have cinnamon buns baking every Sunday. But other than that, like, Hazel's the one who picks all the books that come into the store. She takes care of the day-to-day actions and operations of the store. So I feel like she is successful for being a 29-year-old, having and being in an environment and a workspace that she loves to be in, because she's her own boss pretty much. And she gets to go to this bookstore. I know it's like almost every book lover's dream is to have your own bookstore and coffee shop, and Hazel has that. And I think that's really cool, and then she's read all these different types of books, and, it's just, I don't know. There's not always time. Let me take that back. There is, as long as you're living and you're healthy, you can still make time to do adventurous, reckless things. It doesn't end once you reach a certain age. As long as you're still living and you're still healthy and you can do things, then you can always do those reckless, adventurous things. You don't have to get it done before a certain age. And that's my opinion. This is what I'm learning as an adult, because sorry, that's my cat. As a 35-year-old in my 20s, I did a lot. I did not have a boring 20s decade. I had a very fun, adventurous 20s. It wasn't until I was 28 that I really started to slow down and go to sleep early, because I got a job where I had to start work at 4 a.m. So I started going to bed at like 8 p.m., which was so far fetched from what I was used to, because I was used to going to bed at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, and waking up at 10 a.m, 11 a.m, because I was a server. So previous to my job before, I was a server at a restaurant. So like my shift wouldn't start till like 11 a.m, 12 p.m. And so I, getting my new job where I had to be up really early, that was a hard adjustment for me. And I had to just say, you know what, there's no more going out, no more drinking, no more doing this. Like, I had to really like change my life around. And I don't regret anything I did as a in my 20s or in my teens or whatever. My teens, I was actually a little boring. Yeah, I was a little boring in my teens. But my 20s, I really lived it up. So it's hard for me to speak as a person who had a very adventurous and risk-taking 20s decade. But honestly, to me, if you're enjoying your life and you're happy with whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're going out every night, or you're staying home and reading books, or playing video games, or watching movies or TV, I think whatever makes you happy is what you should keep doing. And I think our bodies and our minds and our souls will tell us when we're ready to make that difference, when we're ready to make that change and do something different. But yeah, this book got me thinking about that. Like, would I feel the same way if I was 29 going on 30? Would I need to feel the urge to make a change in my last 2 months of being a 29-year-old? And again, it's hard for me to say, because I lived a different lifestyle as a 20-year-old compared to Hazel. But I want to say that we can always change when we're ready. And look at me, I'm 35 now, and like I said, my favorite things to do are reading books, having a beer here and there, drinking coffee, figuring out different ways of brewing coffees, drinking teas, watching my TV series and movies. This is what I find joy and comfort in, and this is what I want to continue doing. I like being in nature. I like, going to places that are quiet and calm and green and beautiful and taking long drives. Like, I don't like to party anymore. And I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that. That's what my soul yearns for. And so, anyways, let me stop here because this video is already turning out to be pretty long. But I thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it, because I just yapped on for the last like 10 minutes past the brew and book section. But I mean, that's what books are, right? Not only do they entertain us, not only do we learn from them, but they get us thinking about things. And from what I can take from the Cinnamon Bun bookstore in the what is it called? The Dream Harbor book series. It just got me thinking about life and thinking about our life choices and how we've lived our life so far. So I hope you're all satisfied with the way that you've lived your lives. And if you're not, I hope you're ready to make that change and just be safe and know you're all loved. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day. Like I said, I need to end this because I'm already at like 20 something minutes. But have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.